generations growing up without fathers. And here's the sad part. If you look at Jesus, Mary did not need Joseph to conceive Jesus. But the Lord, nevertheless, sent a righteous man, a good man, Joseph, to father Jesus. Why? Because here's what happens, how we perceive God. God created us out of the love of a mother and a father, right? You need these two to come together to conceive a child. It's the most sacred act ever because it gives life to a child. You can't get more sacred than that. We procreate with God through the sacred act of a mom and a dad coming together to produce that child, to conceive that child. So what happens there, in an ideal world, speaking, when the love of a mother and a love of a father come together to conceive the child and the child is brought into the world, it's through their love together that we form the image of God. It's exactly what I was talking about. Why?
Okay.
Because we project onto God the love that we receive. How else would we learn about God? God is love. So if we're not receiving the love from mom and the love from dad at the house, how else would we know who God is? So when you have a mom only raising the children, which is the case of many, many families, okay? I'm not discounting the father that maybe is really sacrificing to work and send money. But what many fathers forget, that what their children need more than anything is the I love you, te amo mi hijo, estoy orgulloso de ti mi hijo. You know how many adult men have cried, wept tears of painful tears, saying to me, Samia, I am 30 years old or I'm 40 years old, and never once have I heard I love you from my father, or my mother for that matter. But even the father, at least the mother was cooking the tortillas or making the frijoles or whatever, but she was there. But that starvation for just, you know, how else would a young boy learn how to become a father? He needs a role model, and he takes that from his father. And so there is that starvation, whether it's in young females that you saw or young males. So why are they talking about their dad? Because they're starving for their dad. They're starving for dad, you know, see me.
And that's very interesting because the girl, pretty much all the girls, their father had either passed away or they were there in farm work. And farm work, as you know, Hank, here in Southeast Idaho or all over Idaho, we're a farm ag community, takes the fathers out of the home all day. I mean, we have, men are in the fields from early in the morning till very late at night, so up to 10, 12 hours a day that our Hispanic fathers are out in the fields. Our migrant farm workers are out in the fields working. And so that makes total sense to me. I mean, they may be great fathers, they're supporting the family, they love their girls, and the girls know that their dads love them, but the dad's not home because why? Because our society and the way our economics is and the low pay for farm workers keeps them out of the home so that they can't support the family. So that makes total sense to me.
But here's the sad part, Sonia, is where does this stop? Because then I talk to the dads. And they're as broken as their children. I mean, they're probably more broken because they themselves will tell you the same story. But I never heard I love you from my dad. I don't know how to love my child. I don't know how to bond with my child because I also didn't have a dad that loved me. My dad was absent, or my dad was alcoholic, or my dad was this or that, or, you know, and so you have this, it really breaks my heart because I feel like you have this cycle that keeps on repeating itself. And I feel like that is why it's so important to break it. Somebody has to have the courage and say, this is where it's gonna stop. It's gonna stop with me. I need to heal. Just like I did my work. I've been doing my work and I'll continue to do my work until I die. I want to heal that if God blesses me with children one day, if I ever, you know, have that, if that's part of his plan for me, I want to be able to be healed enough to truly love my children. Not to bring children into the world so that I can find someone to love me. Do you see the difference? A lot of us, sometimes our children are like, love me.
Oh, yeah.
No, the children need our love. We cannot. They cannot mother us if we're the parents.
Well, a lot of teenage girls that get pregnant want a baby, and it's because they think that baby is going to give them love.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, yes.
Have you found here in Idaho, we're in the 21st century, you know, and we're technologically. Yes, thank you for that. I appreciate my tongue. But we're very advanced, but yet we're still having those problems? You're still finding problems with in the Hispanic community? Do you have that same problem in the Anglo community? Have you talked to any of the
About
Anglos?
lack of love? Yeah. I think it's more evident in the Hispanic because of the dynamic of the financial, economic situation. Yes, you have it more obvious. In the Anglo community, it's pretty much the same in a different level because you're not having parents go out to find jobs. You're having divorce. Divorce is very common here.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So you have the same issue, and divorce affects children in the same way because, okay, talking about spirituality, you know, just like I believe that God exists, of course, I also believe that the enemy, that the devil exists. He's obviously not, God is powerful, God is in control of everything. The enemy is here for a limited time until God ordains for him, you know.